everybody, and welcome on back to Big Cosplay X. I'm Big Hammer X. I haven't really done that intro in a while. We're going to be building an Omnitrix today. Not this official plastic one that is near and dear to my heart, but this foam one that is also now near and dear to my heart. So we're going to be building an Omnitrix that actually spins. So look at that. Spin, 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 spin. Very simple, easy to do. All you're going to need is around 5mm enough 5mm foam to layer on top of each other. You're then going to need some 2mm or 3mm foam. If you can find it at Hobby Lobby specifically, because I know that they have all this stuff there. I know Joann's Fabric also has the material that I've been using by Yaya Ha, I think. That's what these dowel pieces are. So that will help you if you have those dowels. This is the smallest one possible, the round ones. A circle cutter if you need one, or you could freehand that. I've done freehand before. It's not the worst. You can do it. It's totally possible. But having a circle cutter, a big circle cutter, and then a small little press, like this, will help you immensely. All of which are at Hobby Lobby. But like I said, you don't need a lot of those tools. You can all do it. You can do it all by hand. You just need to put in 10 times more effort. But it's fun and it's easy and you can do it. I have the templates. They're down below. You can trace. You can cut them. I promise. It's a fun build. It's an easy build. All you have to do is just make sure you get it all right. But in terms of glue, you're gonna need a lot of super glue. So go find some Gorilla Glue. It's pretty good. Some magnets for the bottom, and some paint. So any paint will do. Acrylic. I used Plaid FX. Again at Hobby Lobby. So I highly recommend finding a Hobby Lobby or going on Amazon. Okay, to start we need to get this size right. As you can see, I had this old Omnitrix, so that gave me a pretty rough estimate as how big I needed to make it. For you though, take the foam that you have, so take the 5mm foam that you have and wrap it around your wrist. Get it to a tightness that you like. Mark and then measure that. Then add a little bit more onto that since we will be double layering this build. Use the measurement that you now have from wrapping it around your wrist, and add that onto my template to determine how long you need the watch to be. Remember to give yourself a little more than you need, since it is always easier to take off material than add material. I'm making the second layer using the first as my guide. This will give the watch the proper thickness that it needs. As you will see, I will leave some tabs that are overhung. This is for when I add the magnets, so that the shape is maintained. Remember to be in a well-ventilated area when using contact cement, and to give it around 5 minutes before sticking the pieces together. You want the glue to be tacky. These circles were made with a circle tool by Cos Tools. All my tools that make circles are by Cos Tools. I use 5mm for these circles. These will be the button and the little dots around the watch. As you can see, these are the magnets I put into the overhanging tabs I mentioned. Unfortunately, I made this watch a little too small, so it pops open whenever I open my hand. This is why you actually should measure stuff. This is 3mm foam. This will be used for additional raised detail, that being the darker sections of the watch. Again, a step already done for you in the templates. This part is tricky, so I would recommend adding the raised section / darker area before giving the watch shape. Here I'm marking the center of the watch. This is where I will make a hole so that I can have the dial spin. Not even Odin did that. The raised section will also have a smaller hole than the double stacked 5mm hole. To get the center of your watch, simply take my template, fold it in half hot dog style, then fold it in half hamburger style, and take the very corner of the template, and that should be your center. I hope that made any kind of sense. Remember to put the medium-sized hole in the double stacked 5mm area first before you put on the 3mm raised section, which will have a smaller hole. I'm so sorry, oh gosh. Just look what I'm doing, I promise. Here I am making the peg that will rotate, using a medium circle with a small circle on top. I will show you this multiple times throughout this video. I am attaching the raised section using super glue, doing it little by little. Take your time with this. I stacked 2 medium circles on each other, then sanding it down to get that rounded shape for the button. Now I begin working on the tubes. Remember to take your time on this step, especially when cutting the ends. Do it all with one tube. Don't cut at the seam until you are all done. Pay close attention to how I have the tube cut and which way I glue it down. Go little by little. On the template I have provided a guide of where to glue these tubes. These are not for you to cut out the tubes, so this is just a reference for you. Pay extra attention when ending a tube. That way you don't do this. Oh man. Oh man. Oh no. It's so like that. Gonna get funky. Gonna get downright wacky. I can't believe I just did that. And I was just thinking of myself. Make sure to cut it right. Don't cut it wrong. Remember, you want to cut it the other way, and then totally mess that part up, but it's not terribly noticeable. But I mean, oops. Yeah, at least it'll be towards the back, so it won't be all noticeable. And you throw on a couple coats of paint. Now I begin to work on the dial. I can't recommend enough to use a circular cutter by Cause Tools. It's pretty big. Okay, bear with me, but you're gonna see me cutting out a bunch of circles right here, so listen closely to what you need to do. First, cut out a circle using the biggest circle on the template. Cut that out of 3mm foam. Take that same big circle from the template and trace it onto 5mm foam. Do not cut this. Cut out the smaller circle from the templates and trace that inside the 5mm foam you have just drawn. Cut that smaller circle out first, then cut the bigger circle. You now have the ring that goes on top of the 3mm circle you've cut out. Now you can cut out the hourglass. Trace 3mm and cut. Glue that into the middle of the dial that you've been making. These steps aren't really shown, or they go by really fast, so I'm sorry about that. On the template, the hourglass has gray borders. Cut these out using 5mm foam and then glue those in. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I never showed it. The outside of the dowel, or I believe it's called the bezel, has a sloped angle downward. There are two ways to do this. 1. Sand down the edge with the Dremel to get that slope. 2. Grab some 5mm foam and cut the edge at an angle, getting what I can best describe as a triangle tubing, just like the one that we glued all around the Omnitrix. Take that triangle tubing and glue that along the side to get the proper angle. You'll see the results later, and I just go really quick. I never show me gluing it, but it's quite simple, and Odin goes into more detail about that. Okay. Also, your dial will stick out from the build. Take some scrap and cut it at an angle. Insert these pieces of foam under the dial and trace. Do this until the area is filled. Welcome on back. I've got everything all painted up. Saving that reveal for a second. But I decided not to film it all because there was a lot of me like painting and stuff, so it took a while. But I'll show you what we've got here. So the paints that I used, they're all over here, are mostly from the FX line of paints. So I've got FX white, so I used this one for that. The gunmetal, or I call it the gunmetal, I don't actually know the name of it, but this dark silver is probably only dark enough for these sections. And I wanted this kind of more metallic look. So this is like that color pretty much. It's this dark but not black enough. So I'd add a little bit of black to this. I also have the silver that I was using. I thought it would be dark enough for this. It was not, so I mean eventually I kind of just mixed these two a little bit with a couple of coats, but I also used that brighter silver for the button here, and I also used it on the dial, which I'll show. But then for the green I used the nuclear neon. I think oh yeah, so these are just armor metallics, and then this one is smooth satin, it looks like. So yeah, so that's the base. We've got our little peg here, and then here is the dial. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how this turned out. The lighting isn't the best where I am right now. It's darker than it looks. Yeah, it's better in direct light, but yeah. So we've got pretty much like one coat of this gunmetal for the ring, and then another coat of this to get it slightly darker but not super dark, or not as light as the button here. But yeah, and you can see that the inside here, that was the straight up, and then we just got some black acrylic, and then the neon green. I actually ended up legitimately pouring the neon green into this area, which is probably why there's a little bits around here, but it actually worked out really well, and I think it looks sick. So all that's left to do is glue the final component together. If you followed along, you know that you have a hole in the bottom on the magnets. I'm pretty sure I showed that off. So yeah, so just insert. It's really hard to show, but insert that there, up through here, and it just barely pokes out at the top here. So kind of got that clamped in there now. There we go. Okay. There we go. There is a leaf blower in the background. I apologize for that. He's right next to me now. So I'm gonna line it up with everything. Just kind of press down on both sides. So I'm applying pressure this way, applying some pressure. And there we go, just like that. I've got an Omnitrix that spins. Oh, so cool. So I know this section doesn't spin, and I've got a solution for that. On the next build, yes, my next build will be the Alien Force Omnitrix, and then into the Ultimate. I'm on a little Ben 10 kick right now, but it does not like moving it. But yeah, so there we go. A little bit of play for you. So yeah, all right. Let's end this video. All right. Before we end this off, I thought we could do a little bit of a comparison. So here we have the most recent one, the video you've watched. I don't really need to explain it, but here was one of those builds that I just kind of did over the weekend. I really liked it at the time. It's kind of got this like stylized look where the buttons are kind of rectangular all around and stuff. And it's only half painted. I never got around to finishing it, but the difference with this one is it's got Velcro at the bottom instead of the magnets of the new one. So this one is much cleaner. It's also much more round, and the dial spins. And it's complete. I also wanted to compare it to the actual official Ben 10 toy, the original Ben 10 toy. So this isn't the reboot. This is the Omnitrix FX, I believe. But yeah, this is the real one. The batteries do not seem to work anymore. But like the thing about this one is you had all the aliens down at the bottom here, and I can tell you I slapped the daylights out of this toy. So yeah, I mean this one raises and lowers. Mine does not do that, but mine is complete and does spin similarly. Alright guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to even make another Omnitrix. Ben 10 pretty much was my childhood at one point, and I gotta thank my cousin for that. He got a bunch of Ben 10 toys one Christmas, and that was it. From then on, I had to have them all. So, yep. Can't wait to have this. Can't wait to look at this all the time on display. One of my favorite designs is the original one. But in terms of next video, or in terms of next build, I'm going to be doing the Alien Force and then the Ultimatrix. If you guys want it, I think I might do, I'm thinking about doing Omniverse, but I haven't watched that series, so if you recommend that, let me know, because I'm a little off-put by it. Thank you, and if you built this, let me know. I'd love to see it. You can, of course, email me at bigstudiosx@gmail.com, and I'd love to see it. Or you can message me on Instagram at bigstudiosx again. So send me a picture. I'm going to end this now before I keep rambling.